Hi, my name is Carl Klasik, Director of Product Marketing for ServiceNow Security Operations Solutions. I'm here to talk to you today about our exciting new San Diego release. This is an exciting release. We're going to go ahead and talk some more about what these capabilities are. It covers all the way across from what are introductions to major security incident management. So we focus on collaboration, threat intelligence, as well as vulnerability intelligence and added capabilities there. So let's get started and talk a bit some more about what we have today. So first off, when we look at some of the exciting introductions focused on security incident response, we have major security incident management. We're going to talk a bit about some of the updates to MITRE. We continue to invest there. Some recent integrations to support threat intelligence. And with vulnerability response, we have a great new collaboration workspace for IT and vulnerability managers, and we'll talk some on that. And also our Tenable integration for configuration compliance, as well as some other integrations. So very exciting introduction to some capabilities for both security incident response and vulnerability response. All right, so when we think about the challenges of why we do some of these type of solutions and these added capabilities, what do our customers face out there in the industry? Always one of the biggest challenges, we indicate here the assigning, managing, resolving. Essentially, when it comes to major security incidents, it's an overwhelming task for them to go ahead and understand, can I get the right data to the right folks? Can it be timely enough? So much of it's siloed between security, IT, risk, etc. So that's one of the investments in why we have major security incident management, and we'll touch some more there. And secondly, with those challenges, you have security teams want that collaboration. So they realize the need to make automation happen to scale their teams better. They also know that that orchestration capability really drives a faster response. So getting to that point is a major challenge for them. And then third, but last of all, not least, that lack of collaboration. You know, we say that a lot at ServiceNow, and it's really critical for so many customers and in the industry as a challenge to actually get that true collaboration between the organizations, because that's really what drives effective remediation efforts. All right, so we're going to start now by focusing on security incident response. With security incident response, the first area we wanted to touch on is major security incident management. You know, we like to think of this as a virtual strategy room for collaborative response to critical security incidents. And the reason we call that out so distinctly and right up front is that it really delivers that dedicated workspace. So if you think of what can go on with a major security incident management and all the different teams that can be involved, it actually pulls them in so that they have shared workflows, shared visibility into the data, as well as an ongoing status that they can view, report on, and share with other members of the team, as well as pull in additional folks. And again, this can be done all with task management, so that security, IT, non-IT, other roles, all can see those same metrics as well. So not only is this supply just a real, true innovation in a time of constantly expanding the capabilities for security incident response, but it really drives that collaboration between the organizations, which, as we mentioned, is really what can get to a much faster and more effective remediation. So with that in mind, it is a very exciting new piece for our customers and for the industry to realize that they can truly collaborate across the teams. Mike, why don't you share a great demo with us on that so we can understand exactly how that works?
Thanks, Carl. For the purposes of this demonstration, we're going to say that the organization is currently under a ransomware attack. As a security analyst, I can see a new security incident has come in that shows that there is a possible ransomware infection on this particular system. New in security incident response, we've added a virtual command center called Major Security Incident Management. Now from the dropdown, I can propose a major security incident which requires managerial approval. I can promote to a major security incident, which doesn't require approval. It will automatically elevate this particular security incident to a new major security incident. For the purposes of this demo, though, I'm going to link to an existing major security incident because I know that there's an ongoing ransomware attack. I'll select the existing major security incident from the choices and then click OK. You'll note that the security incident is automatically tagged with the major security incident tag, denoting that it is now part of a major security incident. It also includes a link directly to the major security incident. Go ahead and click that, and it will open up the Major Security Incident Management dashboard. This is where incident commanders have a centralized view of everything that's going on for the different major security incidents that they're managing. Here we see the existing major security incident, and we see a timeline. We can even see some events that have been added to the timeline, and if we want, we can create new events. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this so we get a better view of everything else on the dashboard. We can see the impact of the major security incident, including the affected assets, users, and affected locations, as well as the change. We also see the time since the incident has started and the estimated resolution date. We can also get a view of the team members that are working on this major security incident, as well as any linked security incident response incidents that are part of this major security incident, as well as the state that each security incident is in. Clicking on details, we see information about the particular major security incident in question. On the right, we have a place where we can enter in work notes as well as share information with others that are working on the security incident. We see a list of activity as well. I can even look at the individual security incidents by clicking on this drop-down to see details about them. Clicking on collaboration really shows how major security incident response shines. This is where we can view the SharePoint folders as well as the Microsoft Teams channels. We can automatically create new channels by clicking on this link, and we have a list of the activity that has been ongoing in this particular major security incident. For example, the firewall logs that have been uploaded, as well as the Teams information. So here we see Amy chatted with Margaret about the status of the firewall logs being uploaded. We also have a visual task board that shows all of the tasks that are associated with this particular major security incident. That way, the incident commander is able to manage and monitor all of the different tasks across the different security incidents that are associated with this particular ransomware attack. We can even see the incident impact, both by assets as well as locations, and we can even see the affected users. We can see all of the linked security incidents and vulnerable items that are part of this particular major security incident, and the threat intelligence data that's been linked. We can see the indicators as well as any observables that have been detected on the various security incidents. Altogether, this provides a centralized dashboard for incident commanders to be able to manage, monitor, and collaborate with their teams across the entire organization to ensure that major security incidents are resolved quickly and efficiently. That was a quick look at major security incident management. Back to you, Carl.
Next, we wanted to talk about MITRE ATT&CK, the updates, the enhancements. And what do we mean by that? Essentially, we have an opportunity as we continue to invest in MITRE ATT&CK integration because it's an invaluable piece that allows our customers to literally be able to do a profile and a prediction, almost a roadmap of what a threat actor can do in their organization. So they really can be that proactive and preventive. And at the end of the day, what we've added is this mitigation coverage mapping. It allows you to actually see a heat map view and understand exactly where your coverage is strongest for mitigation and where you need to improve those areas. So again, when we think of that capability for visibility into the number of threats and those specific, like we've identified here, specific techniques for the attacks, it's also being able to go ahead and understand where am I strongest, whose teams can actually be closest to that incident and be able to resolve it fast and effective. It gives them all that information they need to understand where mitigation should go first and what are the most effective and fast to respond techniques out there with this type of incident. So at the end of the day, it continues to invest what has been a tremendous asset for many of our customers in the ability to utilize MITRE ATT&CK as part of their security incident response workflows. So next, we wanted to touch on the expanded SIR threat intelligence and orchestration portfolio. So what does that mean? At the end of the day, we are constantly adding new integrations to the portfolio, security incident response, to go ahead and make sure the latest threat intelligence and response capabilities are available to our customers. So we've added Microsoft Teams and a SharePoint integration. And this really drives that collaboration and file sharing capabilities for major security incident management that we discussed earlier. That capacity to go ahead and with Microsoft Teams, be able to go ahead and set up that response, just like you and I use every day to communicate on projects, that we do that for a major security incident management. So that's a very exciting asset for our customers to be able to have that level of communication when it comes to addressing a major security incident management. And then secondly is our support for MIST. So when it comes to MIST for intelligence security, we really have that open source threat intelligence platform. We really are constantly trying to update that and make sure that we have the right integrations. In this case, we added an open source threat intelligence platform integration. And that means that our customers have that much more access to all those different open source threat intelligence insights that can be so critical. So many of them are even tied to particular industries. So an invaluable asset that's opened up through that MISP integration. And then last but not least, we continue to invest in our integration with SentinelOne. And in this case, it syncs the threat information and analysts with orchestration tools. So this is one of the great pieces of the pie when we think about talking our automation and orchestration capabilities, because here with SentinelOne, we really drive an orchestration. So cannot say enough about how much that can mean to our customers. So syncing that threat information and being able to go ahead and take that direct orchestration from security incident response with SentinelOne. So very exciting outcomes and what we've done for security incident responses, threat intel, and orchestration. Next, we're going to talk about vulnerability response. So first off, a very exciting addition is the fact that we've added new workspaces for IT and vulnerability managers. And what does that mean? Think about what we've mentioned so far in our time together today around collaboration workspace. And that's really what this drives for IT and vulnerability managers for remediation. So it really clearly displays to them and gives them that collaborative workspace to review the IT-centric tasks, the security-centric tasks. Again, it has those corresponding collaborative workspaces so that not only do they share, but they can see exactly what their tasks are, what their status is, where they go ahead and need to prioritize first. And it truly is an enabler for IT and vulnerability teams to collaborate to respond to what can be, like we've touched on in earlier, which is an overwhelming volume of vulnerabilities to address. So this is a real game changer for them to go ahead and have that dedicated workspace together to go ahead and remediate vulnerabilities. Next, with that in mind and how much that means in terms of collaboration, like I mentioned, for our vulnerability response and IT teams, let's go ahead and have Mike give us a real view into how this works and what they can accomplish with this type of capability. Mike?
All right, thanks, Carl. Let's start by looking at the new Vulnerability Manager workspace. Now we can immediately see that there's a wealth of information available to us, including watch topics. Now, watch topics are a filtered list of criteria that the Vulnerability Manager has specified that are important to them. So for example, we see a critical overdue vulnerabilities watch topic. And that gives us information about the vulnerabilities in the organization that have been flagged as critical, but have missed their remediation target dates. We can create new watch topics by clicking on the Create Watch Topic button below. Now let's take a look at this critical overdue vulnerabilities watch topic. We can see the trend line information. We can also see the vulnerable items in remediation efforts, as well as the active remediation efforts that are associated with this particular watch topic. We'll take a look at more about the remediation efforts shortly. We even have information about the configuration items, such as the configuration item class for each vulnerable item, as well as the distinct vulnerabilities. We even have a list of all of the vulnerable items that are part of this particular watch topic. Now, like I said, we can create new remediation efforts for this watch topic. We can see that the remediation effort has automatically filled in the name and description, which can be edited after the fact. Now, if we want to select which criteria to create remediation tasks or the work tasks for the IT remediation folks, we can select assignment group and configuration item, assignment group and vulnerability, or we can create the remediation tasks manually by selecting none. Now, let's take a look at the existing remediation effort that's already been created. We can see that it's got some information about the closed vulnerabilities over time. It also has information about the vulnerable items in this particular remediation effort, as well as the remediation tasks that have already been created. Now let's go ahead and edit one of these. Now we can see information about the vulnerable items in the remediation task. What I want to do though is I'm going to assign this to Kevin Holmes, one of the IT workers. Let's go ahead and log in as Kevin, and we'll select the IT remediation workspace. Now this is a new workspace that was created specifically for the IT workers that are responsible for remediating vulnerabilities in the environment. We can see information about the groups that Kevin is in, such as the assigned remediation tasks, the preferred solutions on the different vulnerable items, as well as all of the remediation tasks that are assigned to Kevin's groups. But what we want to do is just look at the ones that are assigned to Kevin. And here we see the one that we just assigned. Now, when we drill down into it, we can see a lot of detailed information about the vulnerability group. We also see some actions that we can take. We can mark this as a false positive. We can split the task if Kevin wants to assign some of these vulnerable items out to a colleague. We can request an exception to extend out the remediation target date. We can even create a change request. And we can see a lot of the different options that are available to us, such as the change request type. We'll keep that as normal. We can set the planned end date. In this case, we'll say the 25th. And it automatically populates the change request with important information for the resolution of the vulnerabilities, such as the implementation plan, the preferred solution. In this case, it's a specific patch to be applied. We'll create that change request, and work will be assigned to the appropriate folks. That was a quick look at both the Vulnerability Manager workspace as well as the IT Remediation workspace that are now part of Vulnerability Response in the San Diego release. Back to you, Carl.
Thanks, Mike. That was a great demo going into, again, highlighting our collaboration capabilities for our customers, particularly in this case around vulnerability response, security IT, that capability to go ahead and have that dedicated workspace to work on. What we want to do now is we've covered a lot of ground, right? And when we think about what we're doing as an organization for our customers, particularly in security operations, we really are enabling them to transform security operations. You know, it's not just about the silo over in the corner of the SOC or the silo over in the other corner of IT. It is about all the organizations realizing the importance of security and their contribution to it, and how much better their organizations will be if they do so. With that in mind, you know, one of the first things we want to have as a takeaway is that collaborative workspace. So like we mentioned, both with major security incident management, as well as with the shared workspace and collaborative workspace that we have for VR and IT. At the end of the day, that allows them to go ahead and focus on shared data, shared outcomes, shared tasks that can accomplish that remediation, that automation of the workflows, and that really effective orchestration of threats and remediation of vulnerabilities, as we touched on. So this really gives those teams a leg up in being able to work together for the better and accomplish things not only faster, but much more effectively with respect to their teams. And then secondly, that threat and vulnerability intelligence. You know, we touched on the different integrations and that capability that they have now to see that much more insight. That's real critical, you know, particularly when we share the MITRE instances and our expansion there in that integration. Because again, attackers are, we know, a real-time speed of light scenario. And your ability to have that information at your fingertips is really critical. So again, we continue to invest in that level of intelligence so that you truly can stay ahead of those threat actors and vulnerabilities. And then last but not least, when it comes to those integrations that we touched on, it really is critical to have those integrations for effective incident remediation. And at the end of the day, for effective orchestration. So we talk about the capabilities of being able to go ahead and automate and orchestrate. Well, if you don't have visibility into where your security posture is today, that's really not something you can do. So that real-time centralized view with the right integrations goes ahead and lets you know where you need to prioritize first, and then therefore what workflows, what teams, what orchestrations can really be the most effective to make sure that you are continually assessing and improving your security posture. So these are, you know, the three key takeaways that reflect a great deal on the challenges that we mentioned up front. So we really look forward to your participation in San Diego and taking some time to understand some of this content. There is a great deal out there. I realize we're all offering you some tremendous updates, and it's very exciting. So I encourage you to also, with this session around security operations, to please visit some of our other San Diego sessions, particularly around integrated risk management, IT operations management, and our ESG, environmental, social, and governance. So thank you for your time. I hope that you gain a great deal of insights into so many of these exciting releases and capabilities that are a part of ServiceNow's San Diego release.